Is your life in constant turmoil and you feel that everything around you is falling apart? No need to worry, folks. The WF is back in town. The WF are those people who keep telling us they have the solutions to all our problems. So they keep on telling us. Hi, I'm Macca. Welcome to the Mac Attack. Yes, friends, WAF, or the WEF even, are back in town, and if you've forgotten all about them, the WEF is the World Economic Forum, a group of over 150 countries meeting at the annual conference in Davos right now. Global solutions, they tell us, but solutions that will affect every aspect of our lives. Please send me your comments and thoughts on the matter, please. And even subscribe. Not all of the usual suspects will be there, so I hear, to put their 2 pence in, but Bill Gates and co have decided not to attend this year. Perhaps they come to the conclusion that cynicism has become the order of the day amongst the people, who are realising finally that something isn't quite right with the world. The WEF agendas, pre- and post-pandemic era, have made people sit up and take notice of these groups and organisations and about what they're up to. And not before time, if you ask me. These global technocrats have empowered themselves and sending humanity down pathways to wherever they deem necessary or for the future of humanity. Whether we like it or not, we have no say about it, or we can't even disagree with it. That's the problem. But whatever it is that these organisations are up to, post-pandemic, people have begun to reflect deeply on their lives and how society is to move forward, both individually and together as a society, as a country, whatever. The pandemic changed everything, didn't it? And has changed our mindset, the way we think, the way we look forward to things. And there's a cynicism like there's never been before. People have begun to realise, as I said, that something isn't quite right and we don't like it, full stop. But the globalists carry on regardless. They believe power should be centralised and the democracies of the world should be overridden by groups like the WAF, along with other organisations such as WHO. And many see this as a threat to all that we hold dear, or used to hold dear in our lives, and all that we love, and all the things that have cemented and kept society together seems to be falling apart. I don't know how you see it. The environment is one of the tools used as a weapon against the people to change every aspect of our lives, as I've said, whether we like it or not. You will listen, you will obey. Whether it will benefit us all or not doesn't matter to them, because if it did, you would be able to vote against it. And you can't. This is the issue, this is the crux of the matter. No one has a right to reject, but we have to accept these agendas that are supposed to enrich and progress human life on the human journey. But ask yourself, are we seeing any benefits to all these things? Or is it just a combination of ideas put together to keep them in power, to keep them lording over the people? Obviously, we're not seeing it, are we? And to remind you again, we're not able to reject those plans because it's a big club and they're all in it and you're not, as George Carlin said. Bless him, the late George Carlin. The agendas are going on full steam ahead regardless of what we say or do, how much we protest, how much we scream and shout. Those agendas are stamped in place, rubber stamped, and are going ahead. Agendas such as recording all our data, there's another one. It will surely come to pass. You know it, they know it, and they're going to do it. But they shout out, it's to save the environment. But dissenting voices will be snuffed out and seen in the same manner as domestic terrorists, which is a pretty scary thought. And just like the pandemic, it's another perfect example of how easily they can come against the people and bring in emergency powers to manipulate and maneuver society into whatever form they want. And to use it against whoever they want. They don't care whether the big or the small, the rich or the poor. It don't matter to them. But if they don't accept it, they're going to come down on you like a ton of bricks. And those, especially in the pandemic, those who made the decision not to have I'm not going to say snake oil, to have the inoculations were demonised and even ostracised by nearly all of society, who were only too willing to please their masters. So they come on the radio stations and media broadcasters all the time, coming against people and demonising them totally for refusing to obey. It was a disgrace, and it still is a disgrace what's happened. Yeah, those who refused the vaccine were deemed a national threat, putting them on the same level as domestic terrorists. Very, very clever use of words, or even not so clever use of words, but it just shows how easily they can manipulate the sheeple so easily into their agendas, and the vast majority fall for it over and over. The same situation applies with the environmental agendas. If you don't go along with it, the cry will be, you don't care about the earth. And so create a new enemy all over again, just like the way they love it. They always love to have an enemy for the agendas. We're seeing it all over and over down the years. But the people are beginning to wake up, thankfully. Of course, the earth has to be respected. That goes without saying, but it has to be managed and treated with sensitivity. But some of it goes beyond just managing the earth. And for a lot of people, there's a fervent love, even worship, of this spinning ball hurtling through the space. And it can sometimes sound like you're listening to some kind of New Age, Neo-Geo Druid cult going on here. But to disempower the people through environmental agendas is fundamentally wrong, in my humble opinion. Carbon footprints are another example of how to disempower people. Maybe they decide every person can have an annual allowance of energy, allowance of food, allowance of fuel, blah, 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 allowance of this, allowance of that. And any usage over and above what they decide you should have, means it's going to cost you big time, financially usually, and even mentally in some cases when they come against you. These things, what they should realise is for those who think they're being very clever with these things, is that it affects the everyday lives of people, and it also affects the mindsets. And so these big corporations are happily accepting these agendas from unelected officials and freely causing mental health crisis that we're witnessing among us right now and never been seen before in the history of mankind. Less and less control of our own lives and communities means more mental health problems like we're witnessing today as the state and the corporate world marry up, world work hand in hand to keep those agendas going to the detriment of the people. Yes, folks, the people are noticing the likes of WEF and WHO of this world, these organisations like this, they're noticing big time, and voices are sounding out like never before. But is it too late? Are we too late? Have we buried our head in the sand for too long? And now they go on marching through whatever they want to bring in without any impedance from us, because we're being disempowered, we're feeling weak, we're feeling unable to make a difference anymore. But is that true? Let me know what you think. We, the people, are also noticing what they are doing has not helped our lives one little bit, but certainly enriched their own. Of that there is no doubt. But among everyday folk, there seems to be only chaos, confusion, unhappiness, and that those ones who put those things in place are the ones responsible for the current confusion, restlessness and mental health. And that's the way they like it for some reason. Among the people of all ages, races, tribes, colours, creeds. And this needs to be addressed by all of us in some way or other concerning these things. Then they might, just might, notice the big plans, the Great Reset, whatever they want to call it, and in every way people being led down a garden path they never wanted to go in the first place. Where are you going? What are you eating? Who you meet? What are your plans? Where are you going? What time are you getting there? Why are you going there? Who are you going? What are you going to do when you get there? They need all of your data for the good of the environment, which it isn't really for the good of the environment. It's for big business, for them to sell you the next latest product. Some call it tyranny, but others might even call it progress. Maybe they do have good intentions, and this is a way for mankind to fairly share our precious resources. But I doubt it. Somehow I doubt it. Many of our beloved citizens are in despair since the pandemic, at various ages, and many of them losing loved ones as well. But the ideologues go on unabated, without hindrance, without pause, sometimes creating smoke and mirrors to fool many of us, if not all, so that a darker, even more darker, more sinister agenda is just waiting on the table to be used, to be brought in, to be administered, and somewhere down the line in history. Who knows? Who knows? The words manipulation and control are not very far away from these conversations, are they? These conversations being had by ordinary people like us. And when we discuss these subjects, words like manipulation and control are not very far away from the conversations, are they? Those conversations the conspiracy theorists used 20 years ago, which the vast majority rubbished, and which, of course, the vast majority are rubbish, but there is some grains of truth to be had, to be taken out of that. And that's why we're using words like manipulation and control in our conversations today. The next set of laws that will be implemented by governments on behalf of these technocrats will, again, remove the humanity from us, remove thoughts and feelings away from us as they remove our own self-control and self-determination out of our lives, just to leave a consumer. And this is what they want. Consumers desensitizing us to it all and accept it, anything, because we'll have given up. The vast majority have given up. They'll just accept whatever it is. Anything. And that expression, he who stands for nothing will fall for anything, is totally true. And they'll fall for anything that to keep us distracted long enough to take our minds off what they're doing. Conversations about these subjects are part of the solutions, though, in the war of the collective consciousness to your own mind, heart, speech, and spirit, which they will try to rob us of, which I don't like. They don't like a collective consciousness of the people coming in as one into one idea how mankind should or what mankind should metamorphose into. Well, what's next? I can't wait. What they got next for us? I can't wait. But there you go. I'm Macca. Thanks for watching the Mac Attack. Please subscribe. Call back again. Stay safe, everybody, no matter who you are and where you are, and have a great day.